In every big tech revolution, there's always this one piece of tech you don't really see it, but man, you feel its impact everywhere. For Web3, that invisible engine just might be a project called Enso. Its whole mission to power the entire ecosystem from behind the curtain. I mean, think about it. Every single massive tech wave has one. It's a pattern, really. Whether it's the PC revolution or the rise of the internet, there's always this foundational piece that just kind of shows up and changes everything. And yeah, this layer, it's never the flashy, sexy app that gets all the headlines. Nope. It's more like the plumbing, the wiring behind the walls. It's the set of tools that's just working tirelessly, completely in the background. But here's the kicker. That boring, invisible layer is what makes everything else possible. It's the thing that unleashes this absolute tidal wave of innovation, letting thousands of other builders create all the products that we eventually can't imagine living without. Okay, so to put this into perspective, just think back to Web 2.0. Amazon Web Services, AWS, basically gave us the cloud on a platter. Stripe made online payments a breeze for any developer. They were the absolute game-changing engines, which of course raises the million-dollar question for Web3. What's our engine? What's going to power this next generation of on-chain apps? All right, so section 1, the Builder's Challenge. Because before we can really answer that question, you have to understand just how tough it is for anyone trying to build in Web3 right now. Look, building in Web3 today is just, well, it's hard. Seriously hard. The ecosystem is this massive, sprawling universe of incredible but totally disconnected protocols. You've got amazing yield optimizers like Beefy. You've got on-chain asset management from places like Lagoon, super complex lending markets like Morpho, and some poor developer has to figure out how to wire all of this stuff together. Oh, and across a bunch of different chains, by the way. It means writing mountains of custom code from scratch, which then needs super expensive audits, and what you end up with is this brittle, tangled mess that everyone calls spaghetti code. And it's so fragile. It's just one of those protocols pushes an update, your whole custom setup can just completely break. So with that mess in mind, let's get to section 2, introducing Enso shortcuts. Because this exact problem, this is what Enso was built for. It's meant to be the clean, elegant solution to all that back-end madness. So what is Enso, really? At its heart, it's an execution engine. The best way to think about it is like a universal adapter for Web3. Or maybe a master switchboard. It's basically that one connecting layer that lets developers combine all these different protocols and chains and actions without having to build custom plumbing from scratch every single time. No more reinventing the wheel. Okay, check this out because this really shows the magic. On the left, you've got the old way. Let's say you want to do a few things. Swap a token, then lend it out, and then rebalance your whole portfolio. That used to be a nightmare. Multiple transactions, a bunch of custom code, just a total headache. But now look at the right. That's the Enso way. They bundle that entire complex dance into one single reusable thing they call a shortcut. You make one call, and poof, it's all done. And for the developers out there, this is a huge deal, a massive deal. It means they can stop spending like 80% of their time wrestling with the plumbing and trying to connect all the wires. Instead, they can just plug into Enso's library of integrations, pick the actions they need, and get back to focusing on what actually matters, building an awesome product for you and shipping it fast. All right, section 3, powering the ecosystem. Because look, this all sounds great on paper, right? But is anyone actually using it? Well, Enso is already live and powering a huge chunk of the ecosystem. And honestly, the numbers really speak for themselves. Get this. Over $15 billion in transaction volume has already flowed through Enso's engine. That is a massive, massive number. And you know what's even more impressive? Not a single dollar has been lost. That tells you this engine is seriously battle-tested and secure. And it's not just about the money. We're talking more than 200 protocols already integrated across multiple chains. Enso has basically become this incredible hub where you can snap different Web3 Legos together. For a dev, that means there's a really good chance the tools you need are already plugged in and just waiting for you. And it goes even further. It's not just about the integrations. There are over 75 live, honest-to-goodness, on-chain apps out there right now, in production, being powered by Enso. This isn't some future tense thing. This is real-world adoption happening as we speak. And what's really cool is just how diverse these apps are. Enso isn't just for one little niche. It's the engine behind core DeFi stuff, the super hot Bitcoin Fi space, even AI agents that need to perform actions on-chain. We're also seeing it in those easy-to-use Telegram bots, and even with protocols that are bringing real-world assets onto the blockchain. It's everywhere. So who exactly are these builders? Well, if we're going to name drop a little, we're talking about huge established players like Yearn and iDealer. We're talking about major innovators in the Bitcoin Fi space like Bedrock and Solve. And yeah, even those super popular Telegram bots like Shogun. These aren't small projects. These are serious teams building absolutely critical infrastructure on top of this engine. Okay, last section. Number 4, why this matters. Let's tie all of this together. So what? Why is a tool like Enso actually so important for the future of Web3? What's the real impact here? It pretty much boils down to this for two groups of people. For the builders, it's about freedom. The freedom to stop fighting with back-end plumbing and actually focus on their big ideas, on innovating. And for us, the users, well, all that innovation translates directly into better products. It means cleaner apps, more reliable performance, and finally an end to those clunky multi-step transactions we've all just kind of accepted. With this kind of engine, things can just work. And that really brings us full circle back to the beginning with this quote from the team. Every tech wave has its invisible layer: Linux, AWS, Stripe, and now Enso. Look, that's a bold statement for sure, but it perfectly captures the ambition here. They want to be that next essential invisible layer, right in the same family as the technologies that completely defined the internet before. So I guess I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. Is Enso the Stripe for Web3? I mean, Stripe made it dead simple for any developer to plug in payments, and that unlocked this incredible wave of e-commerce and new businesses. So is Enso doing that same thing, but for all on-chain value and actions? Is this the invisible engine that's going to power the next 1,000 killer apps in Web3? I don't know for sure, but it is absolutely something you're going to want to keep an eye on.